old ladies watching today? Do we have them watching at all? No. Okay, fine. I wanted to just give a shout, make a shout out to those ladies, to the old ladies, but apparently none of them is watching this virtual launch of the book, which is about their story as much as it is a Dixon's story. So from the beginning, the first time that I spoke to Dixon about the friendship bench, it was still in its infancy, I think. I think it has grown. The phenomenal growth that we've witnessed is just amazing, because in the beginning it was just a local Harare-based initiative, but it is now spread across Zimbabwe. It is now across the borders into to other countries, and Dr. Chibanda, or Dixon, as I always call him, is a remarkable man. From reading the book, I think you'll see how he started the Friendship Bench, what's behind the Friendship Bench, the death of Erica, one of his patients. And when he spoke to me, it was just like something that was really profound that happened. But how he has written that story in his book is made me realize how what an impact it had on him, and how it led to the Friendship Bench. Of course, there was also the demolitions in 2005 when the government demolished the homes of thousands of people that were supposed to have been built illegal structures, which were their homes. But I have gotten to know Dixon, interviewed him a number of times, I think, for the BBC, and I've written some articles about the Friendship Bench. And every time I speak to him, there's been a new development. So it's a growing story, and it's a story that I want to keep on telling, because one, it's a local initiative. It's something that started here in Zimbabwe by somebody that I've really come to know very well. He's become a friend of mine. And most of the time, very important, some of these ideas that become adopted or replicated all over the world come from the global north. But this is an idea that originated in the south, and it has migrated all the way to all those countries where people have replicated, have adopted the Friendship Bench model. And I think that is very important, because it's a good news story. We have stories from this part of the world. I'm talking about Africa. Most of the stories that make the news are not uplifting stories. We're talking about strife, people killing each other. We're talking about hunger and bad governance. But this is a good news story, and it's something that I think I'll keep on banging on about. I'll keep on beating the drum of the Friendship Bench. And as I said, this is a growing story. It's developing all the time from a no budget kind of initiative when Dixon started it with the 14 grannies, to a multi-million-dollar operation that it is today. So I've spoken to Dixon. As I said, he's become a friend of mine, and we've talked about how he started off, and also his life story. Dixon could have been many things. He plays the piano, could have been a musician. Dixon is into martial arts, he does karate. And he also told me that at some point he was considering becoming a journalist. And it's something that was said in passing, but when I finally got to read his book, I was like, wow, this guy writes well. And I thought about my profession. I said, nah, he's a loss. He was a loss to the journalism fraternity. But I think he could have been a bigger loss to mental health fraternity if he had not chosen to go and study medicine in the then Czechoslovakia. So that's Dixon's story. Remarkable man, and this book is remarkable as well. Very well written, and the story is a touching book, empathetic, and I really, like I said, I feel that this is a book that we should encourage other people to read because mental health has no limits, as a lot of you or all of you know, because this is a Zimbabwean initiative, but it has been replicated and adopted in other countries. Why? Because we have problems, similar problems. Our circumstances may be different. I think our situation here, the lack of resources led to Dixon coming up with the friendship bench. But I've spoken to some of you and these problems are everywhere. Resources are not there all the time, and sometimes mental health does not get the attention that it deserves. There's also the issue of stigma. People are dismissed as crazy when they have these problems. So I could go on and on and on talking about Dixon and the friendship bench. But I think my time is up. Our time is limited. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce to you tonight, Dr. Dixon Chibanda. It's over to you, Dixon.
Thank you very much, Ish, for those kind words. Thank you, and welcome to you all from wherever you are joining us across the globe for this launch, first virtual launch of the book. I am very excited about that. But it's really the celebration of the first 14 grandmothers that I started this project with. A project, as you heard from Ish, that has gone on to expand and be replicated in many different parts of the world beyond my wildest dreams and expectations. So I thought to set the tone, I would answer a few of the most commonly asked questions about Friendship Bench and use snippets from the book to answer those questions as a starting point. I will have two slightly long-ish readings as we go along. And one of the most common questions that I get asked when I talk about Friendship Bench in different parts of the world is, why grandmothers? And to answer that, I will read from the preface 15. Again, this is just a snippet to give you a taste of what I write about. And here we go. I began this journey of creating the friendship bench in grief. Over time, I came to realize that while not everyone can see a mental health professional, most people have access to a vital, untapped resource: the care, compassion, empathy, and wisdom of grandmothers, the unsung heroines of the world. Grandmothers weave together the fabric of community so that people's fears, their shame, and their loneliness might be alleviated, so they may realize that the burdens of life are never meant to be carried alone. And so that is why grandmothers, but to go further, to answer another very often asked question about friendship bench, why emphasize on community? Why always talking about community? And I'm reading from the next page, again, just a very brief snippet. Across the globe, we are beginning to recognize that the cultivation of community is crucial, especially given the number of people who struggle with loneliness and isolation. When we remember that we are not alone, that in fact we have priceless shared resources right under our noses, though we may not have seen them as such or even been encouraged to value their wisdom, transformation can happen. And oftentimes that transformation can be life-changing. And in addition to that, I'd just like to add a quote from one of the Friendship Bench clients from the CKT group. Lindiwe is her name, and Lindiwe says, and I quote, "How ironic that we have been brought up to believe that we are poor when actually everything we need is right here in our community," close quote. Ish, would you like me to carry on, or shall we move on and get input from some of our partners, and then I can read the next little snippets? Providence.
Dixon, I think you can carry on and read the excerpts that you've picked out for us, and then we can move on to our next speaker.
Great. All right. So I will carry on with the whole element of community and why I strongly believe in, for lack of a better word, demedicalizing mental health. This book is about demedicalizing mental health. It's really about equipping ordinary people in communities to reach out and make a difference in their own lives and in the lives of those within their communities. So I'm going to carry on with the theme of community. Again, it's just a single paragraph which highlights the importance of community. And I start from the bottom here. It says, "We live in a world that tends to reduce complex human beings down to our component parts. A world that splinters us into discrete individuals and units. This keeps us from seeing the larger truth, that you can't observe one cell independent of another. We are all part of an intricate ecosystem of interconnected parts. If one part is unhealthy, the others inevitably also weaken." This is the last little snippet I have, and then I will have two long ones in response to what triggered Friendship Bench and what I consider to be the most relevant chapter in this book for me at a very personal level. So I'll read this last section, and it goes, "We are each crucially important parts of a larger human story. And when we are gently, lovingly brought back into the fold of our community, we experience healing. I define healing as something that naturally arises when we are able to come together and be woven back into the greater whole. We simply cannot do it alone." I'll stop there for now, Providence and Ish, and let our invited speakers share their thoughts. Over to you.
Thank you, Prof. As you may know, Friendship Bench has been replicated in over 10 countries. And now I'm going to invite 3 speakers, one of the key people that are ensuring that the Friendship Bench work continues to grow in Zimbabwe and in the USA. And I'm going to start by inviting Dr. Thandiwe Mashunye, the head of programs and government relations at Friendship Bench. Over to you, Dr. Thandi.
Thank you, Providence. Yes, hi everyone. I'm Thandi, and wow, I'm extremely proud of where we are right now as Friendship Bench and what Prof and these lovely 14 grandmothers have started and have achieved. So when Prof and these 14 grandmothers started Friendship Bench, I was just in my 2nd year of medical school. And I always marvel at how 20 years down the line, our paths have crossed. And here I am pushing the same vision, pushing the same mission. And it's no longer about just pushing, but also believing in what the mission and vision stands for as Friendship Bench. And as Prof. Chibanda was reading the assets, I was like, yes, this is us. This is what we stand for. This is what runs through our blood, our veins, and this is what we stand for as Friendship Bench. And it's not just me, but I'm speaking on behalf of a multitude of people within our organization, Friendship Bench, across institutions in Zimbabwe and outside Zimbabwe who have been inspired and motivated by this revolution. And it speaks volumes on how such a simple yet impactful intervention can then ignite passion, ignite a sense of I can also be the change that I want to see in the world. And it also starts with the individual going to the community, as Prof illustrated. As Friendship in Zimbabwe, we are on a mission to get people out of depression. And we envision a Friendship Bench within walking distance for all. And when we say for all, we really mean it. Right now, I'm supporting the implementation of Friendship Bench in one of our rural provinces in Zimbabwe, Mat North. And this just speaks volumes on how just, a simple solution can really breathe a revolution within a country, within a community. And right now in Zimbabwe, we have scaled the program into all the 10 provinces in Zimbabwe. We have trained over 2,000 community grandmothers, and we have seen over 800,000 clients on the bench, all because of a revolution that was started 20 years ago. And this wouldn't be possible without our partners, the Ministry of Health, Dr. Maunganidze, WHO, Dr. Machando, the University of Zimbabwe, UZ Research Department. All these people came together, City Health Department, and really supported us, not to forget also our funders and our partners outside Zimbabwe. So thank you very much for partnering with us in this journey and also helping us to realize the vision, the mission that we have. On behalf of Friendship Bench Zimbabwe, Prof, we're really proud of you, and you always put us on the platform. You always make us be seen. So we are very proud of you, and we're honored, and we want to say congratulations on the launch of your book. Thank you. Over to you, Providence.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tandiwe. Now, leading the Friendship Bench expansion efforts in Washington, D.C. Over to you, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Providence. Happy to be here. I am the Cindy Cox-Roman, the CEO of Help Age USA, which is a nonprofit organization that advances the rights, needs, and participation of older people around the world, and we're part of a global network. We set out to pilot Friendship Bench in Washington, D.C. because a group of older people that we are working with here wanted to do something about the mental health crisis impacting our community and, of course, impacting our whole country. The model of relying on older people to serve on Friendship Bench, and I had read about Friendship Bench years before that, really resonates with us because we very much believe in the power and potential of older people to make a meaningful difference in their community. Once they set out to do something, you know it will happen. So we began our official pilot, Help Age USA began the official pilot of Friendship Bench DC in 2024, but that was preceded by about a year and some months of preparation, theory of change workshop, socializing the program within the community, fundraising, and of course, importantly, working with the grandparents to shape the design of the program and train them to be able to serve on Friendship Bench. And that training was provided by the Friendship Bench Zimbabwe team via Zoom, which was a whole experience in and of itself in the best possible way. Our first milestone was setting up the first Friendship Bench, and in June 2024 at Washington Seniors Wellness Center. Friendship Bench does serve. We now have 12 host partners, and they include schools, social services organizations, DC parks and recreation sites, really a range of organizations, but including senior wellness centers and working with older people. We reached two major milestones just recently. One is that we passed the milestone of the Friendship Bench grandparents, and there are 10 who are certified, have provided Friendship Bench sessions to over 250 sessions on Friendship Bench to 100 unique visitors. We have also been conducting an independent evaluation of the pilot, which concluded, and these findings are available, concluded that Friendship Bench DC is an acceptable, meaning it generates trust and is a place that people seek out, and feasible program to implement in DC, and importantly shows that it does have an impact on the mental health of people who visit Friendship Bench. We're really thrilled with these results and are now planning to scale up even more significantly in Washington, D.C. It also does provide, importantly to us, benefits to the grandparents who serve on the bench. To us, it's very clear that when you combine a group of motivated older adults, a community that very much is in need of and welcomes culturally accessible, culturally relevant, and accessible mental health solutions, and a proven model like Friendship Bench in Zimbabwe, evidence-based, that real change can happen. And we're super excited to see where it can go from here. At the end of the day, Friendship Bench, as we see it, is about, we've seen it here in Washington, D.C., it is about human connection. And that need and that possibility transcends borders. Thank you very much. I'll hand it back over to you, Providence.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I would now like to invite Jackie, who is leading the Friendship Bench expansion in New Orleans, USA. Over to you, Jackie.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for this invitation to be able to share in this book launch. We have just been in love with Friendship Bench from the moment we heard about it, met Dr. Chibanda. And what's critical for us is what everybody has been saying. It's all about connection, it's about community, about culture and collaboration. And so when I say connection, I'm talking about on a micro and the macro level. Micro, we call our the clients that are going to come to the bench neighbors, and that's where the cultural piece come in at. Because in New Orleans, you'll hear us say, "Hey neighbor," all the time. So that felt right and warm to us. On a macro level, we're looking at partners. This work cannot be done in a vacuum. Without community partners, we can't do it. But also, we're partners with our neighbors because our perspective is that they are the experts of themselves, that we are just joining alongside of them, giving them tools to dig down to the solutions that are already within them. And the way this connection began was many, many years ago. Carol Bell, who is an elder, an artist, cultural bearer in our community, met Dr. Dixon she did not attend his TED Talk, which was held in New Orleans, but she met him at that event, heard his story, and of course, it was intriguing. Many years later, another connection, she and Ron McLean, who is the executive director of one of our foundations here, Institute of Mental Hygiene, connected in conversation and talked about trying to solve some mental health issues. And she remembered the Friendship Bench conversation with Dr. Dixon. So then he connected with Dr. Torrin Sanders at the Milliam Charles School of Social Work, Grief and Trauma Center, and funded a 2-year planning grant for us to explore bringing Friendship Bench to New Orleans. And then Dr. Sanders connected with me, Carol, and Dr. Nia Davis as the executive planning team for this work. And so there it all began. And community is so critical. There's nothing that can be done without community. And we never have the approach that we have the answers and we're going to bring a program into the community. So from the beginning, we involved community and we wanted to get buy-in. We wanted to identify needs. So we brought in people from everyday lay citizens to mental health professionals to hear their voices and incorporate their voice in our work. We are excited that we've reached a milestone of having 5 of our Friendship Bench supporters, which is what we call the people that's going to do the work with the neighbor on the bench, certified. And that leads us to be able to roll out our roll out our pilot in August of this year. And we, of course, had to involve community in that. And we're looking at New Orleans is a very neighborhood-oriented city. And so it's like looking at the neighborhoods that we wanted to target. So again, connecting and partnering and collaborating with the United Way that has convened a mental health collaborative. And there are also, of course, anybody that listens to Dr. Chibanda for a minute, reads the book, just get an understanding of Friendship Bench, understands, wait a minute, this is what we need. We're looking at it as going back to what our ancestors brought forth, how they functioned and solved problems in the past. And so we're having a Sankofa moment here, bringing forth that which worked in the past, reconnecting people to be empowered to be able to problem solve, relieve stress, thereby decreasing their anxiety and depression symptoms. Our culture is just, it's vibrant, it's focused on food, a lot on food and music. The other day I was at one of the sites that we're looking at partnering with, and it's a community garden, a community wetland, a community grocery store. And in the garden, a lady came to just pick up some leaves to make an antiseptic. And I started talking to her about what we were trying to do in that area. And because of a conversation with her, it's advising and informing how we're going to move forward. She's like, well, people have to trust, and so maybe a get together, which is what we do again around food, and have people just come and hear about it and get to know you all. And it's like, okay, that's exactly what we're going to do. The partnership with the United Way is really amazing because the lady at the United Way, I'm not sure if she's on, Melissa's dad heard Dr. Chibanda on the CBS morning show and was so impressed, he texted her the link to the interview. And then he said, this fits perfectly in your work. She saw it, was excited, went to somebody else in the organization and say, hey, we need to do this. And then again, connecting. And down here, it's all about connecting with people. So now we've been invited in to participate as a viable intervention for the Mental Health Collaborative. So there's a lot going on. The last thing I want to say is that this I think sums it up. One of our cohort members that's actually going to be sitting on the bench and has been recently certified, she was saying that when she first came, it seemed like an extension to the work she had already been doing. She was in a health field. And then she had some things happen to her, some losses that happened during the course of our training and certification. And she said, so it moved from just being an extension of her work and it became personal. And she felt like her experience, even through all of our training and practicum, was actually the experience on a friendship bench. She felt the connection. She felt a sense of belonging. She felt the love. She felt empowered to actually figure out how to grieve for herself. And I said that was the last thing, the very last thing for real, that relates to how we feel about this whole friendship bench movement is we had a loss of one of our friendship bench supporters early on in the training. And so we have not yet, of course, because we haven't rolled out yet, so we haven't started the CKT groups, but we really did a CKT group after the loss of our cohort member. We had an arts party. And it was an opportunity for us all to come together as a group, to grieve together, to express our love, and kind of celebrate and do a ritual for her. And everybody was uplifted and encouraged as they moved on from that. And we feel that's the essence of what Friendship Bench is about. And we love being a part of something that has been developed by us. Somebody made a comment recently that we have been kind of in that medical model, in a model that does not represent our culture. Therefore, people are alienated and choose not to participate in access. So we know for a fact that this is going to increase access to mental health services, but also expand the workforce by using the cohort, the grandmothers that we're using. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I would now like to hand over to Prof to introduce one of the Friendship Bench board members to share reflections. Over to you, Prof.
Thank you, Providence, and I'll make it very quick because we're running out of time. I'd like to invite Maria, all the way from Kenya, who is a board member for the Friendship Bench board, to share her words. Maria has really been a champion for Friendship Bench over the years. Maria, over to you.
No, thank you. And thank you, Dixon, for inviting us and actually writing a book. I think as an African, we are very grateful to having more people write books and write their stories. As someone that lost a sister through death by suicide, I'm really happy to see that a lot of the solutions are local. And I look at my book library here, I'm trying to add more. So it's very happy that we'll have your book to it. So Dixon, I think we will all agree here that Dixon's an unusual gentleman. When I met him the first time, I was like, I just like this guy. Look how he looks. He looks crazy. Quirky guy, eccentric, extremely intelligent. He plays guitar, and I've learned that today, guitar. He's got, I think it's your Land Rovers. I love for for breaking down cars and building them again. Just a different person. And I just want to tell all the Zimbabweans on this call that I'm really sorry, but you're going to lose him to the world. And you're losing him because of an even greater cause. I think Friendship Bench's model will definitely be rolled out across. As soon as I joined Friendship's board about 2 years ago, I remember asking Dixon, how come you don't tell us in the corporate world how we can roll out Friendship Bench in the workplaces? Because I can see that bench, across the workplaces, whether it's an online bench or a physical bench, but generally how we utilize, I would say, skill regeneration. So using the old people or the older people and even the younger people to keep our mental health together. I think I just like the social connection that you have. And you've also taught us that it doesn't matter whether or not you have a PhD, and please excuse all the PhDs and doctors on this call, but you don't need to be educated for you to change society. You just need to be committed, like our gogos who actually do it, and you'll make meaningful purpose here. So Dixon, congratulations. We look forward to rolling out Friendship Bench beyond the US, beyond Zimbabwe. And with this book, I think we'll definitely get there. Congratulations. Thank you, the Friendship Bench team, all our donors, all our US partners, and we look forward to even making the model and its impact across the world. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. Over to you, Providence. I'm not sure what you want to happen now.
Hand it over to Ish.
Thank you, Providence, and thank you to Maria and the other speakers. Cindy, thanks. I finally get to see you. We've spoken before on the phone. Now I can put a face to the voice. Well, I think we are going to do a short Q&A session as we are running out of time. My first question to you, Dr. Dixon, is why did you decide to write this book now?
I decided to write this book after realizing that, the original 14 grandmothers were departing this world. In the book, right at the beginning, there's a picture here of the 14 grandmothers. I'm sure it's not very clear, but when we had that event, I realized it was time to tell the story.
Okay, so, but this is this is a story that is still running, and it will run and run. Should we expect a follow-up to this book? A sequel?
Interestingly, there is a follow-up book. I am working on it. I can't say when it will come out. Ish, we have over 100 peer-reviewed scientific publications about Friendship Bench, and all of those publications are stories. This book, some of you might recognize the stories in this book from some of the op-eds that I've published through BBC or The Guardian. For instance, the story about Kus, the story about Gukurahundi, the Matabeleland massacres. I've written about that for The Guardian. So what this book really is, it's about all the different stories over the years that have influenced and shaped Friendship Bench and my relationship with the grandmothers, the first 14 grandmothers. We have over 3,000 grandmothers now, in Zimbabwe alone, and this book does not really touch on the relationships we have with other our partners across the world. So yes, there's room for more books, but I'm also hoping that others within Friendship Bench will start writing and telling their stories too.
And I
Sorry,
think I've answered this
Professor,
question.
I have 3 questions. Could you please take a look at the shared screen? My question is writing in the chat box. Sorry.
Sorry about that. I think we'll look at your question. We're still having a Q&A with Dixon, who will address your question. Dixon, I think I've asked you this question before. Now, you started off with grandmothers, and why not grandfathers? Do you think grandfathers do not have the capacity to do what the grandmothers are doing?
Thanks, Ish. So the grandfathers, they do have the capacity, but the grandmothers are the gold standard. We have seen over the years that it's much cheaper, a lot more reliable to train grandmothers to do friendship bench. In fact, today we published a cluster randomized controlled trial, which was comparing grandmothers with young people, university students delivering friendship bench. And the results show that university students can do friendship bench, but it's a lot more costly to use university students. And also university students need a lot more supervision. And they are not capable of managing or handling all the challenging issues that come to the bench. So anyone can do friendship bench. When we first started in New York City, for instance, we worked a lot with the LGBTQ plus community. But the gold standard in terms of reliability, and sustainability and cost still remains the grandmothers.
All right.
But Professor,
Okay.
you see, I have a 3 questions.
Yes, can we respond to your questions? Because you've got like 3 long questions. Do you mind if I send you an email, Providence, and I send you an email in response to those questions?
Okay.
Yeah, Providence, please note, and we can respond to those questions.
We'll do so. Thank you.
Okay, Dixon. My next question is Friendship Bench. When it started out in Harare, and it's now gone nationwide. It's gone global. It's okay for people who speak English well, who can read English, to read the story of the Friendship Bench. But are there any plans to translate the book into the local vernacular languages? Because I think this is a story that our people need to read about. This is a story that our people need to know. And it has also spread to other countries which are non-English speaking. Are there any plans to translate the book into the languages where the friendship is currently being implemented?
Yes, definitely we are looking into that. And I'm sure Kim, my publicist, can also respond to that. But we certainly are looking at translating it into a number of languages. I am very passionate about translating things into the local language, Shona and Ndebele, particularly for the grandmothers. They want to see a Shona version of the Friendship Bench book. Yeah.
Thanks, Dixon. I'm just looking at the clock and we're running out of time. Time goes fast when you're having fun. I think now would hand over to Kim to give us information about where we can buy the book and the future plans for the book. As you said, there are plans to translate it into other languages. Over to you, Kim.
Good morning. It's such a joy to be here. I'm Kim Corbin. I am the publicity director at New World Library. We're a book publisher based in California. It's been my absolute joy to work with Dixon. I thought that I would read just a short excerpt from a book review from the Midwest Book Review that we just got about the book, just to tell a little bit more about it. the Midwest Book Review says, "The Friendship Bench is a celebration of the collective wisdom and knowledge of those rooted in their communities and their profound ability to foster belonging, purpose, and healing. Fascinating, informative, insightful, inspiring. The Friendship Bench, How 14 Grandmothers Inspired a Mental Health Revolution by Dr. Dixon Chibanda is a compelling and motivating read from cover to cover, covering the value and effectiveness of simple conversations with elderly women while sitting together on an informal and literal bench. The Friendship Bench will be of immense interest to readers concerned with problems ranging from suicide ideation to dealing with the ordinary and extraordinary stress of life, to the loneliness of the marginalized because of aging, mental, emotional issues, or illness. The paperback edition of The Friendship Bench from New World Library is a high value, high priority, highly recommended pick for personal, professional, community, and college/university library collections. I've been a publicist. I've been with New World Library for 20 years, and I have to say that this book is one of my all-time favorites. The way that Dixon's work meets the need in the world is just, I'm so passionate about it, and it's just such a joy to be working with him to set up interviews. We do have a foreign rights department that's reaching out to other countries. If anyone there has publishers, it would be a book publisher in your country that you think might be interested. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to put my my email address in the chat here, kim@newworldlibrary.com. As far as getting the book, your local Amazon is generally going to be the best way to go. We also have quantity discounts. If you wanted to get a book for your organization or to give out as gifts, you could email me and I can connect you with Amy in our special sales department to get that set up. And we are also going to be sending Dixon some book plates to sign. It's hard to send books and then have them autographed that way. So we're going to have some book plates. So we also will be able to have some autographed copies available. So my email address is in the chat if any of those things are of interest to you. And otherwise, the audio, ebook, and print book are available on Amazon and wherever books are sold. And it's a pleasure. I love this book, and I'm just looking forward to hopefully getting even more interviews set up for Dixon soon.
Thank you so much, Kim. As we close, thank you all for joining us and for celebrating with us this story and the book. If you haven't already, I encourage you to get a copy of the book. It's really worth it. And to close off, you can support a grandmother or join the Friendship Bench movement through our website, friendshipbench.org. You will see either there's a donate button or there is a partnerships tab where you can begin your journey to bringing Friendship Bench in your community. On behalf of the Friendship Bench team, thank you so much for joining us today and wishing you a pleasant day, evening, pleasant morning. Thank you all.
Thank you. All the best.
Thanks, Providence.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Providence. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.